COVID-19 pandemic era and beyond, the role of public health manager and public health practitioner is highly needed to prevent and control the unfinished and challenging COVID-19 and other communicable diseases, as well as the dramatically increasing non-communicable disease. Alma-Ata Graduate School of Public Health is present to address this increasing need of public health experts both in national and global scale.
Alma-Ata Graduate School of Public Health has developed a unique, rigorous, and customized academic curriculum which is suitable for students with different backgrounds of business. Please explore our website in your hand.
In this COVID-19 pandemic era and beyond, the role of public health manager and public health practitioner is highly needed to prevent and control the unfinished and challenging COVID-19 and other communicable diseases, as well as the dramatically increasing non-communicable disease. Alma-Ata Graduate School of Public Health is present to address this increasing need of public health experts both in national and global scale.
Alma-Ata Graduate School of Public Health has developed a unique, rigorous, and customized academic curriculum which is suitable for students with different backgrounds of business. Please explore our website in your hand.
In this COVID-19 pandemic era and beyond, the role of public health manager and public health practitioner is highly needed to prevent and control the unfinished and challenging COVID-19 and other communicable diseases, as well as the dramatically increasing non-communicable disease. Alma-Ata Graduate School of Public Health is present to address this increasing need of public health experts both in national and global scale.
Alma-Ata Graduate School of Public Health has developed a unique, rigorous, and customized academic curriculum which is suitable for students with different backgrounds of business. Please explore our website in your hand.
In this COVID-19 pandemic era and beyond, the role of public health manager and public health practitioner is highly needed to prevent and control the unfinished and challenging COVID-19 and other communicable diseases, as well as the dramatically increasing non-communicable disease. Alma-Ata Graduate School of Public Health is present to address this increasing need of public health experts both in national and global scale.
Alma-Ata Graduate School of Public Health has developed a unique, rigorous, and customized academic curriculum which is suitable for students with different backgrounds of business. Please explore our website in your hand.
In this COVID-19 pandemic era and beyond,
dan proses pembelajaran, yaitu laboratorium gizi, laboratorium farmasi, laboratorium bidan, laboratorium klinik, laboratorium komputer, perpustakaan, laboratorium bahasa, Alma-Ata Medical Center, dan BMT Alma-Ata. Universitas Alma-Ata berupaya membangun iklim belajar yang kondusif. Dengan pengembangan lingkungan Green Campus, mahasiswa dapat belajar dan berkembang dengan nyaman. Universitas Alma-Ata terus mengembangkan berbagai unit kegiatan mahasiswa yang dapat mendukung perkembangan potensi diri, seperti paduan suara, futsal, pencaksilat, yang telah berhasil menorehkan prestasi di berbagai ajang. Hingga kini kami telah mencetak ribuan wisudawan-wisudawati yang telah bekerja di berbagai bidang, baik di dalam maupun di luar negeri.
From which city you have come from?
I am graduates yang kamu akan
Oh, nice.
Universitas Alma-Ata mencetak sumber daya manusia yang profesional, berakhlak mulia, dan siap mengabdi untuk kepentingan umat. Universitas Alma-Ata, sumber inspirasi dunia.
Bergabunglah bersama kami Universitas Alma-Ata yang terbukti mencetak sumber daya manusia yang profesional, berakhlak mulia, berpegang teguh pada nilai-nilai ajaran Islam, dan mengabdi untuk kepentingan umat. Universitas Alma-Ata, The Globe Inspiring University, merupakan salah satu universitas di kota pendidikan Yogyakarta. Kami lahir sebagai buah pikir para cendekiawan muslim dan ulama terhadap laju perkembangan zaman, dan juga bagian dari refleksi tanggung jawab moral keagamaan untuk membuktikan bahwa Islam is always suitable to be a way of life anytime and anywhere, bahwa Islam solihun fi kulli zaman wa makan. Sejak tahun 2006, kami terus berupaya maksimal mencetak sumber daya manusia yang profesional, berakhlak mulia, bervisi global, berpegang teguh pada nilai-nilai ajaran Islam, dan mengabdi untuk kepentingan umat. Saat ini, Universitas Alma-Ata memiliki 4 fakultas dengan 16 program studi yang telah terakreditasi oleh Badan Akreditasi Nasional Perguruan Tinggi, dan sejak tahun 2012 telah bersertifikat ISO 9001-2008 yang terdiri dari Fakultas Ilmu Kesehatan, yaitu 5 program studi S1 dan 1 program studi D3. Fakultas Keguruan dan Ilmu Pendidikan, terdiri dari 4 program studi S1. Fakultas Ekonomi dan Bisnis, terdiri dari 4 program studi S1. Fakultas Ilmu Komputer, yang terdiri dari 2 program studi S1. Universitas Alma-Ata juga menyelenggarakan kelas kuliah sore atau malam untuk memfasilitasi profesional muda yang umumnya mempunyai kesibukan pada pagi hari. Dalam pengembangan kualitas pendidikan, Universitas Alma-Ata juga terus menjalin kerjasama dengan berbagai institusi pendidikan ternama di dunia, yaitu Universitas Tasmania, Australia, University of West Tunisia, Chengkun University, Taiwan, Boromarajunani College of Nursing School, Thailand, hingga Johns Hopkins University, Amerika Serikat. Saat ini sistem pendidikan Universitas Alma-Ata didukung oleh tenaga pengajar terbaik di bidangnya dan juga didukung oleh staf profesional yang setiap saat siap melayani Anda. Universitas Alma-Ata mengedepankan penggunaan teknologi dalam berbagai hal, mulai dari pengisian Kartu Rencana Mahasiswa atau KRS, hingga pendaftaran mahasiswa baru yang dilakukan secara online. Berbagai sarana dan prasarana kami bangun untuk menunjang sistem pendidikan, seperti membangun prasarana gedung baru untuk kenyamanan proses pembelajaran, yaitu laboratorium gizi, laboratorium farmasi, laboratorium bidan, laboratorium klinik, laboratorium komputer, perpustakaan, laboratorium bahasa, Alma-Ata Medical Center, dan BMT Alma-Ata. Universitas Alma-Ata berupaya membangun iklim belajar yang kondusif. Dengan pengembangan lingkungan Green Campus, mahasiswa dapat belajar dan berkembang dengan nyaman. Universitas Alma-Ata terus mengembangkan berbagai unit kegiatan mahasiswa yang dapat mendukung perkembangan potensi diri, seperti paduan suara, futsal, pencaksilat, yang telah berhasil menorehkan prestasi di berbagai ajang. Hingga kini kami telah mencetak ribuan wisudawan-wisudawati yang telah bekerja di berbagai bidang, baik di dalam maupun di luar negeri.
From which city you have come from?
Universitas Al-Haq mencetak sumber daya manusia yang profesional, berakhlak mulia, dan siap mengabdi untuk kepentingan umum. Universitas Al-Haq, sumber inspirasi dunia.
Bergabunglah bersama kami Universitas Alma-Ata yang terbukti mencetak sumber daya manusia yang profesional, berakhlak mulia, berpegang teguh pada nilai-nilai ajaran Islam, dan mengabdi untuk kepentingan umat.
Mbak Retno nunggu panggilan tindakan boleh bismillah semoga lancar. Hasil swab negatif semua.
Cek, cek, cek.
Masuk.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
The Honorable Dr. Randa Hajah Ida Rufaida Ali, as the Chairman of Alma-Ata Foundation, the Honorable Rector of Alma-Ata University, Profesor Dr. Hammam Haji Hammam Hadi, M.Sc, SPJK, the Honorable Vice Rector of Alma-Ata University, the Honorable Dean of Faculty of Islamic Studies, Martalia Ardianingrum, SSI, MPD, the Honorable Dean of Faculty of Economic and Business, Devia Ifsantin Maula, SIP, MBA, the Honorable Professor Dr. Faridah Hajah Hassan, as the speaker from Universiti Teknologi Malaysia, the Honorable Irman Adi Purwanto, Moefthi, SE, M.Sc, as the speaker from Trade at KBRI Cairo, the Honorable Al-Haq Kamal, SEI, MA, as the speaker from Alma-Ata University, Indonesia, the Honorable Ageng Asmara Sani, SEI, ME, as a speaker from Alma Ata University, Indonesia, and the Honorable ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to International Webinar, The New Era Towards Synergy of Halal Ecosystem. First of all, we would thank to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala who has been giving us guidance, happiness, healthy,
Recording in
and
progress.
mercy that we can attend and participate in this event. Praise and salutation upon our Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, the best figure of this universe, the person who has able to save us from Jahiliyah era. Ladies and gentlemen, before we begin this event, let us pray together by reciting Al-Fatihah. May Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala make this event beneficial for all of us, and this event can run smoothly and conducively. Start praying. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah. Finished. Thank you. On this special morning, we have several agendas. So allow me to read several sequences of our agendas. The first is the opening, which we previously had read together. The second is reciting Holy Quran. The third is listening Indonesia Raya and then Mars Alma Ata. The fourth is opening speech from Rector of Alma Ata University. The fifth is the main event international webinar. And the sixth is the closing. Step on the following agenda is reciting the Holy Quran, who will be recited by Abdul Karim Amrullah, student of Islamic Education, Alma Ata University. The time is yours.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
A'udzu billahi minasy syaithanir rajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. يا أيها الذين آمنوا إذا قيل لكم تفسحوا في المجالس إذا قيل لكم تفسحوا في المجالس فافسحوا يفسح الله لكم وإذا قيل شذوا فانشزوا يرفع الله الذين آمنوا منكم يرفع الله الذين آمنوا منكم والذين أوتوا العلم درجات والله بما تعملون خبير والله بما تعملون خبير صدق الله العظيم. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you to Abdul Karim Amrullah, who has recited the Holy Quran for us. May Allah always gives us guidance and help. Amin. Ladies and gentlemen, the third agenda is Listening Indonesia Raya. We are sorry. We would like to wait for a few minutes. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for listening Indonesia Raya. And the next song is Mars Alma Ata.
Dan martabat Indonesiaku, dengan ilmu berkarya bermodal iman takwa, Alma Ata maju jaya. Tanamkan dalam hati visi kesejahteraan, sinarilah dengan iman. Hormati perbedaan budaya dan pikiran sebagai rahmat seluruh alam. Kobarkan semangatmu, sing-singkan lengan maju demi kejayaan negerimu. Tingkatkanlah ilmumu, rendahkanlah hatimu, kan gemilang masa depanku. Karenamu, agungkan namamu, dan martabat Indonesiaku. Dengan ilmu berkarya bermodal iman takwa, Alma Ata maju jaya. Tanamkan dalam hati visi kesejahteraan, sinarilah dengan iman. Hormati perbedaan budaya dan pikiran sebagai rahmat seluruh alam. Kobarkan semangatmu, sing-singkan dengan maju demi kejayaan negerimu. Tingkatkanlah ilmumu, rendahkanlah hatimu, kan gemilang masa depanmu.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for listening Mars Alma Ata. The next agenda is opening speech. Ladies and gentlemen, I immediately invite the Rector of Alma Ata University, Professor Dr. Haji Hammam Hadi, M.Sc, SPJK, forgives the remarks and continue for the opening of the international webinar. Please welcome Professor Dr. Haji Hammam Hadi.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Alhamdulillah wa syukurillah. Wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah Sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa mawala amma ba'dah. Excellencies, the chairperson of the Alma Ata Foundation, vice rectors, the dean of the Faculty of Islamic Studies, the dean of the Faculty of Economy and Business, University of Alma Ata, our respected speakers from different parts, namely Professor Dr. Faridah Hassan from the University of Teknologi Mara, and also Mr. Irman at the Purwanto, Mr. Al-Haq Kamal from the University of Alma, and also Mr. Ageng Asmara Sani from the University of Alma. Ladies and gentlemen, and all the webinar participants. First of all, I would like to thank for the participation of the respected speaker for this very interesting webinar and the very important webinar held by the University of Alma, Faculty of Islamic Studies. Ladies and gentlemen, with the largest Islamic population in the world, Indonesia is the biggest market of halal food. Indonesia is the biggest market for Islamic finance industries. So it is important for us today to think about that. And for everyone, especially for lecturers of the University of Alma and also all students, to really think about how we could participate in the development of Islamic finance industry and how we could have benefits from this opportunity. Therefore, it is time for us, and it is time for every one of you, the young generation, young lecturer, especially from the University of Alma, to take a role in the process of the development of Islamic finance system and also in the development of Islamic finance industries, and also to really think about how to develop Indonesia as the hub of halal markets in the world. It would be very important for us that as the largest country with the largest Muslim society in the world, it is for us that we have to really strengthen our system, our Islamic economy system, our Islamic finance system. It is in our home. It is in our house, the house that we can develop Islamic finance, Islamic industries, halal markets, and everything about halal and Islamic economy. So I would like to thank for the committee of this webinar for the openings webinar today, and I would hope that this webinar would be very beneficial for every one of us, especially for the participant of this webinar. And thank you very much again for all honorable speakers who already participated in this webinar. I would like to welcome you all, and again, thank you very much, and selamat mengikuti webinar yang sangat penting ini. Mudah-mudahan saudara-saudara, every one of you, student, lecturers, and also ladies and gentlemen, again, would take beneficial from this very important webinar. Thank you very much, and wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much to the Rector of Alma Ata University, Professor Dr. Haji Hamam Hadi, for the remarks and for the opening of the international webinar. Well, ladies and gentlemen, before we move to the main event, we take picture together. Okay, and make sure that your camera is turning on. Okay, please turn on your camera. And then I would like to count until 3. Yeah, all of the participants, please open your camera. Okay, and are you ready? Okay, for the first slide, yes, for the first slide, I would like to count 1, 2, 3. Cheers. Okay, thank you. For the next slide, and the second slide, please stay. I would like to count again. 1, 2, 3. Okay, thank you. And the next slide, or the third slide. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Cheers. Okay, and the fourth. Oh, enough. Okay. Thank you for stay here and for your open the camera. Let's keep on the next agenda main event, that is international webinar that will be led by our moderator Meutia Layli, SEMAK, as a lecturer of Accounting Study Program, Faculty of Economic and Business, Alma Ata University. Please welcome her.
Okay, thank you so much to Ms. Faridah for leading me to this seminar. Baik, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, everyone.
Warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay, thank you so much. Good morning, everyone. Okay, for the respectable Director of Alma Ata University, Professor Dr. Hamam Hadi, M.Sc, SPGK, the respectable the Dean of Faculty of Islamic Alma Ata University, Mrs. Candidate Dr. Martalia Ardianingrum, SSC MPD, the respectable the Dean of Faculty of Economic and Business Alma Ata University, Mrs. Devia Ifsantin Maula, SIP MBE, the Honorable all the today's speaker, Professor Dr. Faridah Hassan from Universiti Teknologi Mara, Malaysia, and then Mr. Irman Adi Purwanto Moefthi M.Sc from the Trade Attach KBRI Cairo, as well as Mr. Al-Haq Kamal SAIMA and Mr. Ageng Asmara Sani SAIME, who served the lecture of head a department from Sharia Economic and Islamic Banking in Alma Ata University, Yogyakarta, Indonesia. The Honorable are the lecturer of the Alma Ata University, and last but not least, the Honorable all participants in this webinar. Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce myself. My name is Meutia Layli, the moderator of today's seminar. I'm very pleased to see you here and welcome all of you to this seminar. Today's seminar is about the new era towards synergy of halal ecosystem. Okay, before presentation begin, let me inform you how the presentation will be going on. For the first one, all the speaker will be invited to present the material for about 15 to 20 minutes. After all the speakers delivering their materials, there will be a question and answer session and followed by conclusion or closing statement by each speaker. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are stepping in our main event. Our first speaker today is Professor Dr. Faridah Haji Hassan from Universiti Teknologi Malaysia. Professor Faridah from Department is ranking it at UITM Global University Teknologi Malaysia. Okay, sorry. The slide? Okay, thank you so much. Okay, Professor Dr. Faridah Haji Hassan is from Department of Ranking at UATM Global University Teknologi Malaysia. Is currently the Vice President of Board Academic of Islamic Management. Chartered Institute of Marketing and Malaysia Consumer and Family Economic Association. She was a founder of Halal Management and Science, or we can call it Halal Mas. Director of Institute of Business Excellence and former Dean Faculty of Business Management. She works involved in numerous international research consultancy, training, publication, and she is the chief and associate editor for two Scopus journal. First journal is the Malaysian Journal on Consumer and Family Economics, and the second journal is Emirat Journal of Islamic Marketing. She is a regular invited speaker in various international conferences in halal marketing and strategic business management. Wow, so gorgeous. Okay, for our first speaker, now allow me to welcome the speaker, Professor Dr. Faridah Haji Hassan, to deliver her presentation. To Professor Faridah, the time is yours. Please welcome.
Thank you very much, Moderator Ms. Meutia. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Right, before I begin, let me try out my slide. If I can put it on, share it so that I'll be in control on the slides. I hope you can see it right now. Can you? Just a minute, yes. Yeah?
Okay.
Great. Right. Alhamdulillah. Just a minute. Okay, is that very clear to everyone?
Yes, very clear.
Okay. Very good. Alhamdulillah. Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Honorable Professor Dr. Hamam Hadi, Rector of Ageng University, the Chairman, Dean of the Faculties, Mr. Irman, Mr. Al-Haq and Mr. Ageng, thank you very much for inviting me to Yogyakarta virtually. I'm very happy to come here again, even though via virtual, via online. And congratulations in having this conference or the International Webinar Series 2021 on a topic that is very close to me, which is on halal. So today's theme would be on the new era towards synergy and halal ecosystem. Would be very, I would say, comprehensive to be discussed. And I initially thought that Mr. Irman would go first so that I can hear what he has to say from Cairo. But then there was a slight change last minute, which is okay. I will go first to present to you what it's like to have some Outlook Malaysia as a World Halal Hub insights, yeah, that you can share, or probably we can share together some commonalities between Malaysia and Indonesia as well as Southeast Asia. So my topic actually for today, even though the title is on Malaysia, quite a number of the slides that you will look through in a while would be mostly touching on Southeast Asian studies, which I kind of did this study with a group of my research assistants from INSEAF. INSEAF is the Islamic Finance department from this university, which is under the Bank Negara. And in that group, I have my research assistants, as you can see over here, one guy by the name of Irman. He's from Marang, Indonesia. Hani is an auditor, and Faisal, the next one is He's from Petronas Oil and Gas Malaysia. So I've been given about 20 minutes to present the whole thing, and I'll try to rush as much as possible. In fact, I have kind of deleted quite a number of slides actually, because these slides actually initially I presented it to the non-Muslims in Malaysia as well as in Southeast Asia, from Vietnam and a few others, and what I have given to you that I today would be a summary, just for 20 minutes, just sufficient. So I have about 20 over slides, so I hope I can finish everything within that time given. Okay, so I hope all of you are ready. Please tighten your belt. We are going for an F1 race, okay, to go through as much as possible within this 20 minutes. Okay, let's take a look at the outline. Okay, this would be the outline that we will be going through. I'm not going to go in detail. You can read that from the slides that I'm sharing. So a bit on the halal and toib concept, why this is important, yeah, that why I shared this with the non-Muslims, because for the Muslims is well understood, but the way I presented it to the non-Muslims is that to make it simple, that they will understand, especially in Malaysia itself, which is a multicultural, what do you call that, citizens, as well as the Southeast Asian countries, except for Brunei and Indonesia. We have Singapore, Philippines and Thailand, which has quite a number of non-Muslims. I have to highlight to them the meaning of halal, which is synonymous with the word allowable or permissible. Okay, and the other one that I need to emphasize in the word halal is the word toib. Okay, that whatever we are doing in the food business, it has to be toib, which means it is nutritious, useful, purposive, healthy, as well as it is good for the body and the surroundings. So when we talk about the halal ecosystem, we have to be sensitive with the surroundings. So today I'm wearing green, okay, a little bit of green marketing, which is very Islamic. So we have to preserve that as far as possible in our daily lifestyle. Okay, I don't have to explain this to you because this is well understood by the Muslims, but for the non-Muslims, I have to highlight to them why it is important, that there are certain haram matters in the Muslim lifestyle that is non-permissible at all. Okay, so they need to know what's the difference there. So the emergence of halal and toib concept, okay, I would like to share with everyone how I shared with the non-Muslims is that in the Surah Al-Baqarah verse 168, the emphasis here is all mankind. It is not only meant for the Muslims, yeah. So whatever we are doing here is it would create interest for the non-Muslims, and that's what's happening in Malaysia. And I'm sure, I believe it's also the same in Indonesia, because in Malaysia, almost 80% of the big companies owned over here do handle halal food. Especially processed food, yeah. So they went through the certification and got that certified and approved after stringent audit and all that, and they market it worldwide, and it becomes a very high interest, whereby now many more non-Muslims companies are very interested in this because they know the benefits of taking halal products. So the criteria of halal and toib, especially now, okay, during COVID times, it needs to be set as a benchmark because it determines the best food to serve to every human being. Ummah, yeah, not only Muslims, that is or every human being on this universe. Okay, so both in terms of physical and spiritual health is developed under the halal food, whereby whoever consumes it will also be shaped a good character as a person. Okay, however, undeniably, it is a choice of a person to do bad things too, but then basically they should be good characters, because sometimes, I'm sure all of you have heard, you are what you eat. Okay, so it does influence in our characters. Now, the Europe Monitors 2020 Lifestyle Survey, okay, found out that half of the Southeast Asian consumers believe that they will be healthier in 5 years than they are now. And that was prior to COVID, okay, prior to the pandemic. But with the Wuhan, I would say, issue, there are more reasons that halal become very important, that Southeast Asian consumers, mostly Muslims, are very particular on the choice of food and what is the content or the ingredient, whether it's processed food or fresh food. Yeah. Okay, let's move on. The Global Islamic Economic Indicator 2020 and 2021, we look into two sides of it, the demand and the supply side. Now, let's take a look at the demand side. We have the Islamic values driving lifestyle practices. Okay, so alhamdulillah, we are in the Muslim country, so this is our driving force. There's no two way about it. And the upcoming one would be the digital connectivity, and this is very good. I think most of the millennial people or the generation, as well as the very seniors like us, but young at heart. We may not be young at in age, but young at heart. We are also going into the techno-savvy connectivity. Yeah. However, this too is also influenced by the large, fast-growing and young Muslim population. I could see that a lot in Indonesia. I'm so proud of them. You know, that the driving force of the younger group of Muslims, not only in Indonesia but actually throughout the world, because we believe in the system of marriage institution. Okay, so Muslim will never go wrong. The population will keep on growing. So we have to, download all this information and knowledge for them to be true in how they live a lifestyle as a Muslim. And when we talk about digital connectivity, we are also looking into how there's a growth in the ethical consumption, especially on traceability study on the food movement from the source to the fork or the finger, they call it, from farm to finger, from farm to the fork. Now let's take a look at the supply side drivers. We have this group of OIC, and we need that intra-OIC trade growth, about 60 countries altogether or so. And we also need the participation of global top brands. As you can see, Tesco, especially in most countries, including Malaysia, as well as even if you go to UK, if you happen to visit the Edgware Road, you will see that the whole Tesco over there, the whole hypermarket over there, are 100% halal distributors of products and on every item in Tesco. So that's really something that we are proud to see. Yeah. So okay, when it comes to the OIC trade growth, it is influenced by government regulations, whereas the global top brands, every country should look into the national Islamic economic strategies on the brand that they need to promote. Okay, however, the GIE score rank of late, India research, the findings found that Malaysia still top the score rank, and the top areas that they really score are in the areas of halal food, Islamic finance, and then now let me push this away, I can't see what's okay. Muslim friendly travel. However, this is put into a stop at the moment, okay, until COVID is over, the pandemic is over. And other than that, we have pharmaceutical and cosmetics, okay. But UAE has overtaken Malaysia in terms of modest fashion, as well as media and recreation, okay. That includes top social medias. Okay, let's take a look at the 5 halal food related products exporter and importer. Okay, interestingly, let's look at the black dots. Yeah, the top importers are us, okay. We have the Saudi, the UAE, the Indonesia, Malaysia, and Turkey. All right. Tun Mahathir used to say that Muslims are really the biggest culprit in consumption. They love to buy, but they don't produce. Okay, so I really like what he said, and it really drummed into my head. The top exporters for the halal related food, okay, mostly processed, countries like India, USA, and then we have Brazil in poultry, okay, and then number 4 France, and number 5 Russia. However, take a look at the one in red. And these are the countries that has COVID-19 confirmed cases, okay? Which is number 1, USA, number 2, Brazil, number 3 would be India, and number 4, Russia. And now look at Malaysia, Indonesia. We are equally the culprit of COVID-19 confirmed cases also, especially after Lebaran, yeah, the Eid Lebaran. So we have to do something about it. Be serious on how to handle this, yeah, in order for the economy to pick it up. Now let's move on into the global map of the halal food certification governance as well as the industry profile. You can see various countries in the continents that are really involved, and they are the halal certification body which are very active, okay? And these are the ports that used to have a good relationship with Malaysia, beginning or starting, I would say, Port of Rotterdam way back in 2006 when Tun Abdullah Badawi was our Prime Minister, because we have a twin halal port with the one in Malaysia, which is Klang port, which is nearby my area of residence, and the rest came up quite recently, okay? So they have their reasons why they are situated and taking into the coverage of the market, okay? Now let's move on. Now this is the various profile of it. So you can see that the halal food is coming up to in 2019 there's about 1.9 billion, and because of COVID-19 there's it was affected, okay? And so you can see that the growth of the halal food kind of slowed down, okay, compared to other products coming into place in 2020 and 2021. And in terms of investment, you can see that Indonesia did a good job in the acquisition of Indomie noodles for the African market, MENA market manufacturer, Europe with the PE firm pulling back by French halal, okay, for these meat products, and Malaysia got about 16 related deals with the international companies. So you can see over here Malaysia top the most, then followed by Singapore, which take this very seriously on how it can move on with doing the tradings. And these are some of the aspects of signals of opportunities which you can read later on, yeah. So that involve the stringent halal regulations, supply chain, blockchain is the in thing right now. Then we have the cloud kitchen, especially during pandemic, and then we have a health focused functional food like what I've discussed earlier about Toib, and the last one is ready to cook or ready to eat and ready to cook segment. Okay, let's move on. So in terms of the COVID impacted sector, halal food was the least, okay, impacted, and then followed by modest fashion, the soft mat, and then the Muslim friendly was the highest affected, which have very high impact, as well as Islamic finance. Also Islamic finance is like what Director Prof Hammam mentioned just now. Islamic finance is bigger than the halal economy. However, they were affected in 2020-2021 due to the what do you call that, depositories, investment, and many others, yeah. So other than that, medium impact will be halal cosmetic. Pharmaceutical is least impact. In fact, you can see a growth in pharmaceutical products, and now coming into halal pharmaceutical products soon, okay. Now let's look on to the other aspects. I did some study with my group of research assistants. Literature review, I'm just sharing with you one part, only one region, continent, which is Asia. You can see the latest issues that has been focused on, like for example, 2020 will be on the purchase intention on halal food in Indonesia. Then in Thailand and also Indonesia on halal awareness. There was a comparative study in Malaysia about halal food fraud. A lot of fake, claims, as well as also fake logo being, adopted by unscrupulous businessmen. And then we have, maybe they don't understand, the true meaning of halal, so they need to be educated further. So other than that, in Turkey, there's a rapid growth on the halal product, but they have marketing problems. But in the Middle East and Southeast Asia, we should also look into the awareness of halal food by the Generation Z, because a lot of them don't even know how a halal logo looks like, one that is being produced, one that resembles Indonesia or one that resembles Malaysia. I've done the test to my MBA students. A lot of them fail, because they take things for granted. So the signals of global halal food industry during and post COVID-19 pandemic, you can see for the industry, consumer related, they started from the health food booths and went on to customer trust, because if you don't have a customer's trust, then halal doesn't play a big role over there, as having a goodness of feed or healthy food or food safety and security. In terms of value chain related, we are going into automation. And there's a need of logistic technology. For government, we look into the advanced food security measures. As you can see right now, you have seen, I'm sure in Indonesia, you have seen all these news like fake rice, fake eggs, fake veggies, everything is fake, including fake infant milk that is made of melamine content ingredient inside this. That's very scary, okay? So you must have an international coordination to make sure that all these are being addressed. So the demand side drivers of global halal food industry would be looking into the young Muslim population, which is large and fast growing. Second, Islamic values must still be inculcated, like what your university is doing, which I'm very proud to see the Islamic department and facultas, existing, handling issues, day-to-day issues, and very current. Other than that, rapid digital connectivity, okay, it has to be cheap and low for all consumers to enjoy it. And the next one would be on ethical consumption, because as I mentioned to you just now, there's so many fake products in the market, look-alike, but they are not the original product. The supply side drivers would be looking into the stringent government regulation. Other than that, as I mentioned earlier, intra-OIC countries, we are not united actually. Although we have a lot of funds under OIC countries, but there needs to be a strong leaders or strong group of leaders in OIC countries to make sure this thing is taken place for good trade and I would say consumers' demand to be addressed. Other than that, we'll be looking into leading global brands, and then we also look into the national economy strategy in every country, especially in Southeast Asia. Okay, the recent development on halal, global halal food industry, you can see that the spending in COVID-19 does affect, with a drop of about 2%, and the challenges would be the pandemic has proved to be a challenging period for global food production and distribution, because sometimes you can produce but you can't distribute, but you can do it locally, domestically, but for export marketing, this is not the right time yet. So you can see that there's a lot of movement, grab food or panda food, whatever you call it. I'm sure you have the same in Malaysia, in Indonesia. Then we have the flurry in development on investment, innovation, digitalization. So there must be new products, innovation that you should introduce to the market. And the next one would be the main driver of Islamic economy, which is actually based on the Islamic finance. Okay, so you can read that on your own. So the future, as you can see, until 2027, practically all continents, okay, blue would be North America, the mustard color Asia Pacific, the gray Europe, Latin America, yellow, and the last one Middle East and Africa. So everything is growing up, okay, so that's a good sign. Now, other than that, we look into comparative development metrics, which I did with my research assistant. You can see that how the Asian countries are focusing. Malaysia has a complete halal system. Indonesia has a master plan until 2024. And then UAE, they strike a deal with China to create a one billion food manufacturing processing facility in Dubai, and Pakistan also had a good relationship or partnership with Cargill. So the current operational development of food industry involve the halal certification, digitalization, value chain, and traceability. There's no two way about it. All Muslim countries must embark into this. So you can see Indonesian poultry working well with McDonald's, the HDC Malaysia. We have an integrated platform with the the Halal Park. The France or the French group, they had the French food chain, and the South Korea, they used the telecom firm to improve their digitalization. The United States, Infanka is very active in resorting to doing virtual halal audits in that part of the continent. The flourishing food tech innovation would be, these are some of the examples. For example, in Japan, they developed the Asian first halal gelatin plant. In Germany and Egypt, they also have the developed custom products for African and Middle Eastern market. The Europe, Bahrain also had their own production facility on halal cheese. Argentina looks into fungi, or fungus. And the Russian group look into food package, including for I think for the lab and astronaut, to go fly and also enjoy the halal food. I mean, that's just a breakthrough. And in UK, you can see the UK based Frankie's Farm look into the pork free bacon. They market it via Asda, and they do go into the halal and chill hours right now, and then the corporate response on shifting of consumers' behavior, which is very important. You need to understand your consumer, decide on what they want. So the Europe, Italy would go into the multi-vendor marketplace in order to reach out to their customers. And so you can see many others here. In Dubai, the Hero also go into the grocery marketplace. The Arab Asia, Ben Dawood, Carrefour. The UK would go into the M&S food, although I mentioned just now about Tesco. The Asia, Malaysia and China, we also have Milo, which they set up a plant in the Chembong, Malaysia, as well as another plant in China facility. And Indonesia, Middle East and North Africa, I did mention to you on the current focus on instant noodles manufacturer for the MENA agreement. So the signal of opportunities, I'm about to finish up my slides ready. One would be looking up into scaling up investment for the cutter supply side. Second would look into the food digital. And third would look into Islamic finance to support the halal food growth. Number 4, halal is rated to healthy as a must, especially in pandemic times. And number 5, potential for halal to be pure, nutritious, as well as healthier. And finally, the OIC collaboration under the ecosystem. So the challenges would be, again, it involves the robust data. SME should also be taken into consideration because they are the most suffered group. And the next one would be looking into agri-tech with the halal food scientists, okay? Because food, medicine, all comes from the agri-halal science. Now, in terms of food insecurity, I think this is the main concern, not only for halal, but for the world. So we need to embark into that more so if it is halal. So what would be the low-hanging fruit action right now? For global halal food industry, we have to look into how to return looking into ethics, reform and reinvent in the manufacturing, distribution as well as to the customers. So recommendation for halal food industry players, investors and consumers would be into looking lean supply chain business model, a new one that you can set up for each country, cloud kitchen, halal food database, innovation in terms of healthier value food, and the last one would be applied system. So finally, my last slide. The government should play a pivotal role in halal awareness, and the industry players must move into the technologies, and the youth, the millennials should look into buying in the market segment which is sufficient, and it need to be educated, and the supply chain should be automated. The reinvention of existing business model must be relooked, okay, just like Malaysia's Halal. And the final one would be the global collaboration in the halal food standards, guidelines, and regulation. So I guess with that, I thank you all for the time given, and also Al-Mubarak to everyone. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much to Professor Faridah. Okay. The emergence of consuming halal and toy food in everyday life, human need food and drink that is not only taste halal, must also be ensured highly nutrition or toiban, right? That can meet the nutritional need of the body, especially in this pandemic era. We have to really keep our healthy, and it can be supported by halal food, which is a healthy food too. Right. Okay. Thank you so much to Professor Faridah. Okay.
Welcome.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to the second speakers today. Our second speaker today is. Okay. Wait for a slide. Okay. I'm so sorry to Professor Faridah.
Yeah, I need to, how do I get out from here? I'm so sorry, Meutia.
Okay.
Just a minute, yeah?
Yes.
Okay. All right, let me.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to the second speaker. Our second speaker today is Mr. Irman Adi Purwanto Moefthi, S.A. M.Sc. He is from Trade Attaché, KBRI Cairo. The functional record of him is from 2012 until 2016. He is from Indonesian Trade Promotion Center, ITPC, in Johannesburg, South Africa. And from 2016 until 2018, as a Directorate of Export Product Development, and Directorate General of National Export Development in Kementerian Perdagangan. And then from 2018 until now, as a Trade Attaché KBRI in Cairo. Okay, now allow me to welcome the speakers, Mr. Irman Adi Purwanto Moefthi, S.A. M.Sc, to deliver his presentation. To Mr. Irman, time is yours. I'm so sorry to Mr. Irman. Are you still there? I'm so sorry to all the participants. We can wait a minute for Mr. Irman.
Yes, I'm sorry. Sorry, moderator. I'm back again because of the connection here.
Okay.
The connection here in Egypt.
All right, no problem.
Yeah, thank you so much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam
Good morning. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahirrabbilalamin. Wassalatu wassalamu ala asrafil mursalin Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa man tabi'ahum bi ihsan ila yaumiddin. Honorable Professor Dr. Hamam Hadi, Director of Alma Ata University, the Honorable Chairperson, Vice Rectors, and Dean of the Alma Ata Universities, including our fellow speakers, especially Professor Dr. Faridah Hassan, Mr. Al-Haq Kamal, Mr. Ageng Asmara, and also the moderator, Saudari Meutia Layli, all the scholars of Alma Ata University, community leaders, academics, lecturers, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I'd like to thank God, Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, bless all the blessing and the mercy so we can attend this meeting program in a very good conditions. And also, salawat and salam are always given to our Prophet, Nabi Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, effectively in order to attain happy and prosperous life in this world and hereafter. Meeting International Webinar Series 2021, the new era towards synergy of halal ecosystem, and especially we will discuss today about the outlook of Cairo trade and halal ecosystem. Allow me, Irman Adi Purwanto Moefthi, the trade attaché of the Embassy of the Republic of Indonesia in Cairo, Egypt, to present my presentation. So I will share the screen, and I hope that all of you can see now. My screen.
Okay.
Is it all right? Everybody can see?
Okay, clear.
All right, let me begin with my presentation. And we already hear brought knowledge from Professor Faridah earlier about the whole general description on halal economic and halal food industry, especially about the situation and what's already been happening as for today in the whole Islamic countries as well. So with this presentation, I'd like to take you, especially in the specific region in which my duty has been still served at this moment as a commercial attaché in Cairo and especially in North Africa regions. And I'm going to take you and explain about the whole condition and about the prospect of the Indonesia export and development on economic and trade, especially with its halal products into one of the most prosperous and potential markets in the MENA region, which is Egypt, that already absorbs a lot of the Indonesian commodities, especially in terms of the halal industries. As we sides of from the Quran according to Islamic Sharia, as already been mentioned before, as here I'm taking another side from the Al-Baqarah, verse 172, which is which is also give the idea about how important the halal food, especially for the mankind. So this is not only for the Muslim community, but also for the world community. And as has been explained here, all believers eat from the good things we have provided for you and give thanks to Allah if you truly worship Him alone. So we must have faith for Allah, our God, that bring us all these good things as an halal, that we have to follow His will regarding on how our God gave us the food and all the products that should be preferred good things from the God. And also for the product that are haram is something that Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala forbids to do a strict prohibitions. So let me take now as our President Joko Widodo give the important point here is to increase the export value, which is especially to the non-traditional country. Yeah, non-traditional country is a country that's categorized as not the main destination for export from Indonesia, like United States or Asian countries or China, and etc. But other countries like African countries, and then South America and others. And then Indonesia as one of the country that that have an important role in the economic industries, have play a major key player in many important organization for the world economy, namely founder for the Asian, the RCEP, the Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnerships, and also many others. So the market expansion for the national economic recovery is, we can divide it into four categories. Is first for the non-traditional markets, to take in any opportunities here in the country as an alternative of exports, and then as a trade negotiation with other countries, especially with the non-traditional economics, and also in increasing the utilization of the foreign trade agreement. And this is all is to encourage the business without any barriers that can accelerate the economic and the trade value for the Indonesia. And then also to manage the key markets and the products. So we have actually categorized many kind of products that's been potential for exports, and especially food products, namely the crude palm oil and spices, and my presentations. So as for the Africa itself, it's been tapped as the potential markets that have a market share around 2.3%. This is quite still low compared to the other countries. Even though Africa is a very huge continent, but the Indonesian trade with Africa is still below 2%. So hopefully to increase more or less 2.3% at this moment is quite enough. But we hope that in the later future, in the next future, we can tap more than what is already been targeted to tap the many potential market around the African continents. So our leaders, our ambassadors, our head representatives, or an economic relations with all the accredited countries. And Africa is very important market for Indonesia, as it's been billion people, at least 50% of which are the working age populations. So this is a very attractive, and we want to target the halal food industry and the other products of halal from Indonesia. So as we see here, for Northern Africa itself, which is still minus around 3.12%, but the export potential is more than 2 billion US export is 1.5 billion. So there are still untapped potentials that could be generate more than 1 billion US dollar. So this is for Northern Africa itself. We can see also for the Eastern Africa, the growth is already been growing positively, and also in the Southern Africa, there's still also untapped potential growth about more than 600 million US dollar. So the human resource potential in the African markets, because this is a very huge market, as the population of Africa is equivalent meters with the high productive populations that can be targeted as our markets, especially for our potential resources, and also big population from east until west, north, central, and south. This is the opportunity and challenges for African market as of a nation that's more easier to be marketed there. And then Africa also has a lot built today, also in the Egypt. A lot of bridging, a lot of road and toll has been developed, has been founded at this moment. And all the capacity projects by cooperation with the Indonesian workers, as well as the challenges we got in Africa is first, about the characteristics, security issues, logistic costs, and other matters that can be challenges if we talk about the African countries. This is all the African market characteristics that can we take knowledge about, less can give us an idea that our Indonesian foods, halal food, or kind of food that halal coming from other countries can be targeted into African community. African women like this, according to 5, with an average growth of 3.5% per year. So this is also give an idea for us. Africa is a very especially targeted the halal food industries and also the other halal industry, including clothes, fashion, also this is the overview about the trade between Indonesia and Egypt. It's the only country during the pandemic of COVID that seeing a positive growth until, and the trade between Indonesia and Egypt in the year 2020 see a modest growth around 3.2%. So this growth is mostly coming from the food industry, which you can see here. We categorize it into 10 main products that have a very huge potential into the Egyptian market, and mostly it's in the food industry, and mostly also in the halal industries. So the Egyptian agri-food production has developed in recent years. Although the Northern African country continues to record a trade deficit in agricultural products, in imports more than in exports. But despite the project, several opportunities to Indonesian exporters, as the country is limited by the available agriculture along the Nile River. But the demand of food and beverages is on the rise in Egypt. So we can see that Egypt is domestic among other products. So this is the halal regulation and certification in Egypt. The halal industry is based on belief, as already been explained before, that Muslims should consume goods that are halal and thayyiban, which is directly translated to permissible and wholesome. And it is also important to note that halal has gained an increasing acceptance among non-Muslim consumers due to its connection with ethical consumerism and other all healthiness. The halal industry has now expanded beyond the food sector to include pharmaceuticals, cosmetic, health products, toiletries, and medical devices, as well as service sectors components, such as logistics, marketing, print and electronic media, packaging, branding, and financing. Coming in second after Islamic financing, the halal food sector is emerging as one of the most profitable and influential market areas in the world food business today. This halal certificate actually is aimed at the Muslim population, meet the requirement of Islamic law, and therefore are suitable for consumption. So halal certification is an internationally recognized certificate necessary to get trade permission in 117 countries. Halal certification is a process that ensures that features and quality of the products according to the rules established by the Islamic Council that allow the use of the halal mark. So it is mainly applied to meat products and other food products such as milk, canned foods, and additive. So Egypt have their own organization, which is the Egyptian Organization for Standardization and Quality Control, that monitoring these halal food activities. So Indonesia actually to export into Egypt as focus on these two halal industry, which is food and fashion. As a food export, in Egypt import from Indonesia, we see as one of the example here is kind of snacks or a confectionaries food, so many others that already have been acknowledged by the Indonesian community. But at the Egyptian market, we have also a niche, which is pharmaceuticals that still can be growing and can be developed on the cooperation with a lot of Indonesian herbal industries and also the beauty products. As such, Wardah Cosmetic, which is very famous among the Asian communities in Egyptian market, as well as to bring the influence for the Egyptian community. Here, the Egyptians business in Egypt, also the Indonesian students, which is more than 10,000 students study in the Al-Azhar University, plus all the community, Indonesian community, they also live in Egypt. Restaurants that about more than 25 medium or big, which is diversified in all region in Egypt. Also halal tourism and halal stayover all motel. This is all the businesses operated by the Indonesian, mostly Indonesian students. One example is what the coffee market in Egypt that we can also give an example to describe the ecosystem is the green bean coming from Indonesia. Arabica is very famous in Egypt and share about 70% for all the coffee coming from all the world into Egypt. This is a kind of description about the ecosystem industries that coming from the Indonesian market that allow all this component from farming until the halal supply chain, giving to the importers, giving to the distributors until received by the consumer, all's been using the halal procedures in Egypt. Even for the poultry industries, also for the cutting the chicken is also using the halal procedures that we should reach its time before cutting the chicken. This is the industries that's already been happening in Egypt. So using the Sharia industries in food, especially in the food industry in Egypt, into the Egyptian markets, including the channel until submitting all the documents needed, and also with the Indonesian representative at the embassy. This is all the challenge for the Egyptian markets that has to be prioritized by all the exporters that will bring the products into the Egypt to be penetrated into the Egyptian markets. Especially, we have to know that buyers there tend to be loyal with high quality, but there are also challenges in the import duties and also for the language barriers. That most of the Egyptian markets they speak more of Arabic rather than English. This is some of the overview about our promotions, our programs on how to the Egyptian market and the festival and the in-store promotion and also in the exhibitions. So as the conclusion, we have to intensify the inspection of halal food, medicine, and cosmetic circulating in Indonesia and other Muslim countries. And we have to increase in education regarding halal products with other agencies and institutions. And third, we have to increase awareness as well of producers in producing the halal products with counseling and education regarding halal products with other agencies, strengthen and expand the cooperation with Islamic-oriented national and international Islamic institutions. This is all about how we tackle all this. Shukran, thank you very much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you so much for Mr. Irman. Thank you so much for giving me such an informative and interesting presentation. Okay, so we have to increasing the export value. The message from our president, Mr. Jokowi, we have to increasing export value. So we have to how to market inspiration for national economic recovery. For the first one, we have to find and take advantages of any opportunities in the countries as alternative of export, and then we have to trade agreement settlement, and then we have to increase of utilization of FTA, and then we have to managing the key market of the key market and product. Okay, thank you so much for Mr. Irman. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to our third presenter today. Our third speaker today. Okay, let's wait a minute. Okay, thank you. Okay. 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 Yes. Okay. Our third speaker today is Mr. Al-Haq Kamal, SAIMA. He is a lecturer, also served as Head of Economic Sharia Department from Alma University, and his education record is Bachelor in Islamic Economics from UIN Sunan Kalijaga, and he has a master degree from Master of Art Islamic Economics from Gajah Mada University. Now allow me to welcome the speaker, Mr. Al-Haq Kamal, SAIMA, to deliver his presentation. To Mr. Al-Haq Kamal, the time is yours. Please welcome.
Okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thanks for the time, Ms. Meutia Layli. Let me introduce myself. My name is Al-Haq Kamal from the Department of Islamic Economics, Alma University. I'm proud to be in a one forum with Mr. Irman Adi Purwanto, Moefthi, a Master of Science as a trade attaché in Cairo, and Prof. Faridah Haji Hassan. We meet again, Prof. Assalamualaikum. This morning I'm gonna present about Indonesia's toward the Halal Industry Center. The slideshow, please. Okay. Next slide, please. Okay. In Islamic economy sector or halal industry, we can classify into at least 7 sectors. The first sector is halal food, and then halal tourism or Islamic tourism, and then Islamic finance, and then Muslim fashion, and then halal pharmaceutical, halal pharmacy, and then halal cosmetic for Muslimah, and the last sector is halal entertainment. Okay, on this data, the point is for the Islamic economic sector, the 7 sector, the global Muslim spending decreased 8% in 2020 at the because the pandemic COVID-19. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, the first sector for halal food sector, Muslims global. Muslims spend on food increased by 3.1% in 2019. From this data, we can see that the people of Indonesia consume and spend money $144 billion for halal food. Oke, jadi mungkin saya campur dengan bahasa Indonesia. Jadi orang Indonesia mengkonsumsi dan membelanjakan uangnya untuk makanan halal sebesar 144 juta dolar. Oke, next slide please. For tourism sector, while there is a diminished prospect for tourism, with the expectation being that the sector will adapt to the new normal. Ya, jadi memang sektor pariwisata dalam beberapa tahun ini mengalami prospek yang kurang baik, ya, karena banyak larangan untuk bepergian, pembatasan aktivitas. Nah, diharapkan sektor ini akan beradaptasi dengan lebih cepat, ya, dan sangat tergantung pada kebijakan pemerintah. Oke, and next slide, please. For fashion sector. Okay, for fashion sector, Muslim spend on apparel and footwear increased by 4.2% in 2019, naik ya, and the COVID pandemic hit the $2.2 trillion global fashion industry, with sales falling and some of them shutting down. From this data, fashion consumer market in Indonesia is about 16 billion, 16 juta dollar, $16 billion. So I think the sector Indonesian consumer is not as big as other Muslim countries. Tidak sebesar pasar dari pasar konsumsi dari Indonesia tidak sebesar negara-negara lain seperti di Iran, di Pakistan, dan di Turki. So mungkin wanita Indonesia itu lebih suka belanja makanan daripada belanja baju baru ya, tidak semodis wanita Iran dan wanita Pakistan ya. Ya, itu data tidak bisa bohong. And then the next slide please, for halal pharmaceutical. Okay, for halal pharmaceutical market will exist at the preventive care sector, because COVID-19 is a new focus on health and immunity. Pharmaceutical consumer market in Indonesia reached $5.5 billion. Tidak sebesar di Turki dan Arab Saudi. Mungkin karena halal pharmaceutical tidak menjadi prioritas dalam obat karena mungkin banyak daruratnya. Okay, and the next slide for cosmetics. Muslim consumer worldwide at 66 billion in 2019. Indonesia's consumption market ranked second after India. Okay, for cosmetic, it's mean that maybe Indonesian women spend their money on cosmetic. Okay, after receiving their salary, go to the facial treatment, or something like that. Jadi mungkin wanita-wanita di Indonesia, muslimah di Indonesia, ya itu masih kalah sama muslimah di India ya. Dia lebih banyak membelanjakan uangnya untuk kosmetik. Okay, the next slide, the summary. I'm sorry. I think Islamic economic sector is still dominated by the finance sector. I'm sorry, but I didn't explain about Islamic finance because sudah terlalu sering dibahas ya. Mungkin akan dibahas oleh Mr. Ageng after my presentation. Okay, so dari data ini kita bisa melihat bahwa selain sektor keuangan, halal food adalah mendominasi, masih di ranking 2. Okay, and then next slide, please. Okay, and then I continue on review of halal industry in Indonesia. Okay, the population in Indonesia is the 4th largest in the world, based on BPS, on Statistik Indonesia in 2010. The population of Muslim the population of Muslim in Indonesia reach to 207 million people, or about 18.7% of Indonesia total population. It means that 13.1% of Muslim population in the world. Ya, jadi populasi Indonesia tahun 2010 adalah 207 juta, ya, dan 87%-nya adalah Muslim, dan berarti 87% tersebut adalah 13,1% dari jumlah seluruh Muslim di dunia. So, whereas globally the total Muslim world population will increase from 1.6 billion people in 2010 to 2.2 billion on 2030. Okay, next slide please. So, jadi dari jumlah populasi yang bisa kita prediksi, ya, jadi Indonesia memiliki 207 juta orang, ya, dan itu adalah 13,1% dari jumlah seluruh Muslim di dunia. Berarti itu adalah pasar yang sangat besar untuk kebutuhan industri halal. Oke, dan selebihnya lebih dari 80% berarti adalah pasar internasional Indonesia. Itu adalah kesempatan Indonesia untuk memenuhi kebutuhan industri halal internasional. Oke, sebelumnya, Indonesia have a big mission to develop a halal industry ecosystem that fulfill national and international needs. Oke, jadi kita punya agenda besar, punya misi yang besar dalam memenuhi kebutuhan industri halal, baik di dalam negeri, kebutuhan nasional maupun kebutuhan internasional. Oke, the next slide please. Ini adalah rancang bangunan untuk apa? Untuk cita-cita Indonesia sebagai pusat ekonomi Islam dunia. Salah satunya adalah pilarnya adalah halal industri area. Oke, the next slide. Oke, the plan to develop halal industry area by the Ministry of Industry is a response to Undang-Undang Nomor 33 Tahun 2014 about guarantee halal product Indonesia. Ya, and then jadi setelah ada undang-undang ini, Kementerian Perdagangan merencanakan sebuah halal area, ya, plan to develop halal industry area atau kawasan industri halal. Ya, biasanya kita istilahnya adalah KIH, kawasan industri halal. Halal industrial estate atau kawasan industri halal is one of or a part of an industrial area with intention to producing halal products in accordance with the halal product guarantee system. Okay, and then next slide please. So halal industry area can create a comprehensive comprehensively integrated value chains so that it will increase the competitiveness of halal product. Jadi mungkin salah satu cara, ya, salah satu cara untuk menaikkan keunggulan halal produk di Indonesia adalah dengan menggagas atau merencanakan sebuah halal industri area atau KIH, kawasan industri halal. Oke, ada, and then the next slide please. About important to build important points to build a halal industrial area. Jadi ada beberapa poin-poin penting yang harus dibangun dalam menciptakan halal industri area atau KIH. The first is halal industry area management. Jadi kita membutuhkan manajemen suatu areanya, and then halal laboratory examination, lab lab untuk menguji kehalalan produknya, and then halal clean water management system, dan penting sekali untuk membuat sistem air bersihnya, ya, yang sesuai dengan kaidah kehalalan yang ada di dalam hukum Islam, and then auditor for halal assurance institution. Kemudian auditor halalnya, ya, and then the last important point is halal industry area barrier, adalah perlindungan atau benteng industri halal agar tidak diserang dengan negara lain. Jadi kita menjaga kompetisi dengan negara lain. The next slide please. The Ministry of Industry, Kemenperin, is committed to develop halal industrial areas, including pertama di Batam Industrial Estate, and second Bintan Industrial Park di Bintan, di Riau, and then Jakarta Industrial Estate Pulau Gadung, and the fourth Modern Cikande Industrial Estate. Next slide please. This is the master plan Bintan Industrial Park and Batam. Jadi ada dari empat KIH ini, ya, ada di Bintan, di Batam, kemudian keduanya ada di Pulau Jawa. Jadi mungkin strategi yang bagus, ya, untuk Bintan dan Batam berada di perbatasan Indonesia, di sekitar Kepulauan Riau, di Riau Archipelago. Ya, itu adalah strategi untuk menginvasi pasar luar negeri. Sedangkan untuk kebutuhan dalam negeri, untuk kebutuhan nasional adalah di Pulau Gadung dan di Cikande. Saya kira demikian presentasi dari saya. Thanks for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Yes, okay, so incredible. Thank you so much to Mr. Al-Haq Kamal to deliver his presentation. So, Mr. Kamal said that we have a big mission to develop a halal industry ecosystem that fulfill national and international needs. So, Undang-Undang Nomor 33 tahun 2014 ya, Pak Kamal ya, concerning granted halal product in Indonesia and halal industrial estate atau kawasan industri halal. Nah, from that halal industrial areas can create a comprehensively integrated value chain so that it will increase the competitiveness of halal product. Okay, thank you so much to Mr. Kamal. That's so great presentation. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, so now we are to move to our first speaker today. is Mr. Ageng Asmara Sani, SAEMA. He is Islamic Banking Economic Department from Alma University and taken his bachelor degree from Islamic Finance at State Islamic University or UIN Sunan Kalijaga, and he has take a Magister of Finance and Islamic Banking postgraduate at State Islamic University Sunan Kalijaga. Now allow me to welcome the speaker, Mr. Ageng Asmara Sani, to deliver his presentation. Okay, Mr. Ageng Asmara Sani, time is yours.
Hello.
Hello.
Are my sound is clear?
Yes, so clear.
Yes. Okay. Thank you. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Alhamdulillah, syukurillah, wala hawla wala quwata illa billah. Nahmaduhu wa nasta'inuhu wa nastaghfiruh. Wa na'udzu billahi min shururi anfusina min sayyiati a'malina. May yahdihillahu fala mudhillalah wa may yudlil fala hadiyalah. Nasyhadu an la ilaha illallah, nasyhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluh, la nabiyya wa rasula ba'da. Rabbi israh li sadri wa yassir li amri wa hlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Honorable Rector at Alma University, Professor Dr. Haji Hamam Hadi, M.Sc, SPGK, and then Professor Dr. Faridah, Hassan, Mr. Irman Adi Purwanto, and my brother Mr. Al-Haq Kamal as speakers today. Good afternoon to all of you, to all participants. Okay, I got the last chance in this webinar, and almost all aspect of the halal ecosystem has been discussed before. Okay, but I will sharing related to Islamic financial to drive halal ecosystem, especially in Indonesia. I hope it can make our knowledge greater than before. Okay. To the next slide, please. Okay, in this webinar, inshallah, I will try to sharing about these following things. Yeah. Okay. The first is word overview of halal ecosystem. Yeah, but previously has been discussed by Professor Faridah and Mr. Kamal. And the next is the master plan of Islamic economic, especially in Indonesia. And then the new catalyst of ecosystem in Indonesia. And then goals to be a central of economic and finance. And then why Indonesia choose that. And then towards synergizing of halal ecosystem. And then how to accelerate the development of Islamic economy. We hope with this discussion we can open up our understanding and make us more sensitive to the development of halal sector in Indonesia. Okay, to the next slide. To the next slide, please. Yeah, Indonesia, based on Global Islamic Economic Index, or we also know at GIAI to 2020, Indonesia is number 4 out of the top 15 countries. Yeah, the first is Malaysia, Saudi Arabia, Uni Arab Emirates, and then Indonesia. But if we look by sector from halal food, Indonesia is number 4, Islamic finance Indonesia is number 6, Muslim friendly travel Indonesia is number 6, yeah, modest Indonesia is number 3, pharmacies and cosmetic number 6, and media recreation we are number 5. This report can be indicating that Indonesia is starting to be a notice in the world as a leading country. Yeah, this cannot be disparted from the many people in the world, especially in Indonesia. They are starting to be aware of Islamic economy. Yeah, I give an example, starting from a food sector maybe. Halal product are no longer just a trend, but now have become a community need. Many people choose to consume halal product, cosmetic maybe, food maybe, or maybe pharmacy. And then the product with labeling halal more desirable than those without a halal label. Yeah. Why did it develop? Several Muslim communities in Indonesia as a driving wheel, yeah, to mobilize the will of community. I think the existence of COVID is one of things that raises public awareness about cleanliness and halalness of the product. Okay, to the next slide, please. Yeah, Indonesia have the vision in Master Plan of Islamic Economic to be a Mandiri, Makmur, dan Madani, to be a greatest Islamic economic in the world. Okay, yeah. The huge step are needed to this vision, starting from preparing the community. I think literacy improvement for the people of Indonesia, preparing a Sharia compliance financial architecture, and then preparing facilities and infrastructure for the financial sector and real sector. Yeah, it is. And in this master plan, it is divided into basic strategy, main strategy, and then we have what the hope, the achieve. What is the hope with this master plan? In this master plan, in basic strategies, we have main programs, main strategies to achieve the achievement target that have been proclaimed before. In the basic strategy, there are 4 foundations, namely increasing public awareness, increasing the quantity and quality of human resource, strengthening research and development, and the last is strengthening regulation. And then the main strategy includes strengthening the halal value chain, strengthening Islamic finance, micro, small, and medium enterprises, and strengthening digital economy. Yeah. The hope is that after all this vision achieved, there will be an increasing in production and increasing Sharia business asset. Yeah, and increasing the GEAE score and increasing the food and energy self-sufficiency. And then increasing the Maqasid Syariah index, especially in Indonesia, which ultimately leads to an increasing the welfare people in Indonesia. Okay. If we see, we have the new catalyst of halal ecosystem. Okay, the next slide, please. Yeah. There are many the many strategies with this new catalyst of halal ecosystem. We have influencer, we have actors and actors, hijrah, to support this fulfillment of Islamic Economic Master Plan in Indonesia. Yeah. The existence of influencer and actress and actor hijrah who are widely followed by the people can be a new catalyst to promote halal ecosystem. Yeah. Why did I say that? Because the presence of influencer is very easy to hear and follow by the public. Yeah. The presence of this influencer can accelerate the growth of halal economy. It can be a pressure point in the promotion of a halal ecosystem. Why is that? Because with the existence of artists or influencer who migrated or hijrah and become a public spotlight, yeah, some people easily, especially their fans, yeah, maybe they could be follow the influencer or actress or actors. Yeah, and then modest fashion is more trendy with the existence of simple fashion but covering the genitals, which is increasingly trendy and widely used by community, can be triggered the fashion consumption, especially Muslim clothing. Yeah, or in Indonesia we call it baju koko, baju Muslim, or something like that. Yeah. And then the presence of technology that makes it easy to access. Yeah, the rapid flow of information and the presence of digital technology used by the community can make it easier for people to get a various information, so that the information can be transferred easily. It can be a good tool to campaigning for the halal ecosystem. Okay, the presence of accessing the technology, the financial institution using technology, and the existence of digital bank using the technology that are starting to be working on will add the long list of catalysts in halal ecosystem. And then the last is new paradigm of halal. The existence of halal paradigm is just not a trend or desire, but becomes a need. Yeah, the people can be profitable in terms of consumption to the halal food. So this can be a trigger a halal ecosystem from the consumption halal food, cosmetic and pharmaceutical. Okay, thank you. To the next slide, please. Why Indonesia? The answer, the question is why Indonesia? Okay, we have three advantages. The first is we are the largest Muslim population. As the largest Muslim population in the world, we have an advantage to leading in many sectors, especially in Islamic ecosystem. Of total, maybe is 270 million population in Indonesia, and then maybe 80 to 85% are Muslim. With the large Muslim population in Indonesia, we actually have a very potential market. Only by fulfilling the domestic market, the Indonesian people will get a lot of benefits. Yeah. So that the government's alignment here is needed to drive the consumption and production, especially in halal goods. Okay, we have a government. Can they be nice to the disadvantage? Okay, and the second is we have young and unbanked. We can see, according to Bappenas report, yeah, the number of Indonesian entering to productive age 15 to 64 years was at 68.7% in 2019. Yeah. And many Indonesians people are still unbanked category. Data from Future Southeast Asia Digital Financial Services, as many as 92 million people are still in or still unbanked category. So it requires the role of government to take this opportunity. So this is a very good opportunity if the Islamic finance industry want to take this chance. Okay, and the last, we have the advantage about digital ready country. The digital facilities in Indonesia and infrastructure are good enough, so that they can support the development of the halal ecosystem. But we have the weakness. The weakness is that there is no equal distribution between the city or village. Yeah, we have not good or no equal distribution. So this also requires the government effort to improve digital infrastructure in the better direction. Okay, to the next slide, please. Okay, we are entered the core discussion for my presentation. Yeah, how to synergize the halal ecosystem. The problem that occur in Indonesia is that it not been integrated institution of Islamic financial fees systematically with halal industry. Why do I say that? In Indonesia, in particular, there are many people who do not even know how to use Islamic financial services. Therefore, it is necessary to increase public understanding of the importance of Islamic financial services and increase financial literacy. On the other hand, it is necessary to enhance the role of Halal Product Guarantee Agency, or we also know Badan Penyelenggara Jaminan Produk Halal, and Financial Service Authority, or we also know about Otoritas Jasa Keuangan, to establish integration between institution of Islamic financial service and halal industry, which focus on the attempt to emphasize the synergy between government institution, financial institution, social institution, educational institution, and business association in helping to resolve the problem of halal industry. On this problem, Financial Service Authority and Halal Product Guarantee Agency is required to take a part in harmonizing strategies between the institution of Islamic finance service and initiating policies to developing halal industry. Okay. Overall, back to the previous slide. Okay. Overall, halal industry ecosystem model can be seen in this slide. Yeah, this ecosystem will be effective if there are alignment of types of financing and assistance from bank, capital market, and insurance, as well as industry of trade office, tourism agencies, National Islamic Finance Committee, or we know KNKS, and Majelis Ulama Indonesia, Islamic Boarding School, University, Islamic Economic Organization, such as MES, maybe IAE, and business communities, LAZIS, BWM, and BMT, to make communication and coordination between the institution, to optimize a measured and planned ecosystem program. Coordinating from government institutions such as OJK is needed to maintain the spirit and consistency of Islamic financial ecosystem in developing halal industry. In addition, upgrading in terms of facility and service is certainly needed for business owner to feel the added value of this halal ecosystem. Okay, to the next slide, please. Yeah, okay. This is okay. As we know, and I mentioned it before, Indonesia, we have the advantage, the large number of Muslim, maybe 80 to 85% the population is Muslim. This can be the main advantage to develop halal ecosystem. But our society is still skeptical. And for example, many people talk about the fees, of biaya at Islamic finance institutions are still more expensive than conventional banks. Yeah, this makes sense. I told you it makes sense. Why? Because conventional banks are older, and their business is more efficient than Islamic bank. However, we do not to be discouraged. So because we have merger of 3 largest Islamic bank to become Bank Syariah Indonesia, they increased their asset and capital. So we hope it can be increasing their effectively and more efficient. But however, this cannot simply change and make Indonesia as a central of economic and finance in the world so fast. But we needed to improve and use the advantage that as majority Muslim, we have the market, we have the institution, we have the government who support and development to development Islamic economic and finance. And the last question is, why Islamic finance in Indonesia not growing fast as other countries? We can see the market share for Islamic financial institution. Please back. Okay, yeah. Islamic financial institution, which is still 6.80%. Yeah, and total market share in Indonesia. Yeah. in June 2020. And if you look the contracts used, okay, next what? Okay, there's are no, back. Okay, there's still many people using murobaha contract or akad murobaha in Islamic financial institution, which still indicate that financing is dominated by consumptive financing. I'm not saying murobaha or consumer financing is bad. It's good for running the economy. But the spirit of Islamic banking is to drive the economy so that what should be more in this proportion to the productive contracts such as mudorobah or musyarakah. Okay, yeah. So I want to say to the audience, yeah, there must be a mutual competition with with the others, but we can choose to jamaah, ya, or berjamaah, bareng-bareng, together, ya. With together we can win whatever win there is, from the banking side and from regulator and from business side and the all existing stakeholder who have an interest in Islamic ecosystem. Okay, for what? For enhancing Islamic economy from upstream to downstream, and we need to support each other. I think enough, yeah, from me. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you so much to Mr. Ageng. So the vision of Indonesia, which state in the master plan of Islamic economics, which want to create Indonesia as an independent, prosperous, and civilized and becoming the center of the Islamic economy in the world. The hard steps are needed. We have to starting from preparing the community literacy improvement, preparing a Sharia compliant finance architecture, preparing facilities and infrastructure for both the financial sector and the real sector. It was created in the master plan. It is divided into basic strategies, main program, main strategy to achieve the achievement target that have been proclaimed. That Mr. Ageng. Okay, so the hope is that after all of that achieved is there will be an increase in production and increase the Sharia business asset and increase the Global Islamic Economic Index or GEAE score and increase in the food and energy self-sufficiency and increase the Maqasid Sharia Index in Indonesia, which ultimately leads to an increase in the welfare of the people in Indonesia. Right, Mr. Ageng? Okay. Thank you so much for an incredible presentation from Mr. Ageng. So, ladies and gentlemen, now come to the question and answer session. I'd like to have two sessions, and there will be 3 questions in each session from the participant. I'm open the session. First, to the participant who have question, please raise your hand by clicking on the raise hand button on your Zoom apps, or please write in the comment box on Zoom on your YouTube down below.
Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
I want to ask. Before Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you very much to moderator for giving me time to ask. My name is Muhammad Musleh. I'm from Alma University, from Islamic banking students. To the point, apart from halal food and finance We know that Indonesia is a country with 1,000 islands, and of course, there are also various tourist attractions or various tourist places. Well, with the many tourist attractions, can also help the country's economics, which is based on Sharia principles. And the question is how to improve Indonesia's tourism competitiveness through the halal tourism business ecosystem. In accordance with the government's goal, which is to make Indonesia the center of Islamic finance and the potential acquisition of Indonesian Muslim. The halal tourism business ecosystem can be one of the priority strategies of the government's program to attract foreign tourists coming to Indonesia through purchasing assistance and infrastructure based on Sharia principle. Maybe just it from me. Thank you very much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Okay, Mr. Muhammad Musleh, your question is delivered to who? Who speaker?
Yes. How to improve Indonesian tourism competitiveness through the halal tourism business ecosystem.
Okay, how to improve Indonesian tourism. So, which one speaker is you want to answer your question? Oh, you can. Who speaker you want to answer your question? Prof. Faridah or Mr. Irman or Mr. Al-Haq Kamal or Mr. Ageng? Or you want our speaker answer your question? Okay, I think Mr. Musla is not active in the, okay. Any question anymore? The second question? Or in the chat? Okay. Okay, there is a question from Nur Novianti. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Waalaikumsalam. I'm Nur Novianti from Alma University Management Study Program. Permission to ask for Mr. Ageng Asmara. Okay, does Indonesia have the opportunity to the number one regarding halal products? How should Indonesia to get the number one position with Malaysia? And what is the most efficient way according to you so that the Indonesian people understand the halal economy? Thank you so much. Okay, thank you, Nur Novianti. For the second question, okay, once more before I going to close the session one. Once more question.
Okay, hello, Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam.
Okay, thank you for attention. And unveil question.
Okay.
For Professor Dr. Faridah Hassan.
Okay. Hello, can you introduce yourself?
Okay, myself is Dunyati Ilmiah.
Okay.
It's everyone call me Ilmi.
Okay.
My question is how we can show to everyone that someone has market or the name of Indonesia is warung makan is halal, because we know that we visiting new place is called the place is Bali. Is there restaurant or cafe is still questionable halal? It's mean this food is halal or not halal. Maybe we need labels in front of restaurant that in this restaurant is halal food. But we know that halal is not just from materials halal and also about that processed food is say basmala before cooking. So my question that how we can show to everyone that someone has market of the name of Indonesia is halal like this. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you so much to Miss Dunyati Ilmiah. This question delivered to Prof. Faridah, right? Okay, okay, thank you. For the first question from Muhammad Musleh. Okay, how to improve Indonesian tourism? How to improve Indonesian tourism? Maybe all the speakers can answer this question, or especially from Mr. Al-Haq Kamal or Mr. Irman Andi, because I think this question is related to your presentation. Okay, to Mr. Irman Adi, can you answer? You can answer this question from Muhammad Musleh. How to improve Indonesian tourism?
Well, thank you very much for the questions. This is about how to improve the tourism industry, especially in Indonesia, as nowadays it's becoming disoriented because of the COVID pandemic, and many of the Indonesian tourist destinations, not necessarily the halal destinations. Most of the area has been affected by the destination, by the visitors who come to the destined sites, as well as the supporting industries around, like hotels, restaurants, and many others has been all affected by the pandemic COVID. So the challenges is now, first is how we can improve, and first to be on solving the problems after we have been experiencing the pandemic of COVID-19. This is most important, first on how to save our tourism industries, and then in the later stage we can come up to categorize which destinations in Indonesia can be targeted as a halal destination for this tourism, as a tourism destinations. First, most and important is we have to integrate it all the stakeholders involving in the tourism industries, which is including the government, including the public sectors, including all the stakeholders that's been involved in those particular areas in the spatial region or in this specific provinces. And we integrated all these supporting industries, including the chain stores, the supermarkets, the hotels, the restaurants, cafes, and many others, to support the ideas and to get consolidated and collaborations together among stakeholders on how together we can have one perception on the halal itself. Not necessarily that by throwing up or throw up the characteristics or the culture or the values that's already been developed by the provinces or by the areas itself. We have to to understand first the cultural meanings, the norms, and the values of all the characteristics of all those people in the particular areas, so that then we can develop together the necessary the terms of halal itself for the tourism industry and for the tourism people who will come to the areas, because halal itself has a meaning clean and then also manageable, all these good things that coming that's already been taught by God and also by our Prophet Muhammad. So all those good things should be developed and having a very good meaning as halal, and in parallel with the understanding about the characteristic on the area that will be or shall be developed as the halal tourism destination. That's my answer. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much for Mr. Irman. There is the second speaker that want to answer the question from Mr. Al-Haq Kamal. Okay, let's Mr. Al-Haq Kamal, time is yours.
Thank you very much, Miss Meutia Layli. Let me answer the question in bahasa Indonesia. Takut salah. Oke, bagaimana untuk bagaimana pertanyaan tadi? Sorry. Oh, to improve halal tourism. Oke. Di situasi COVID-19 ini, dari kacamata investor, tidak perspektif. Jadi mungkin dalam waktu 5 tahun sampai 2024, industri pariwisata baik global maupun wisata halal tidak memiliki prospek yang baik, ya. Hanya bisa melakukan strategi bertahan, setidaknya tidak hancur secara total, ya. Jadi pasti akan mengalami penurunan volume, mau tidak mau itu pasti terjadi, karena banyak pembatasan. Misal di dalam hotel ada protokol standar yang sangat membatasi pelayanan untuk hotelnya. Jadi mereka hanya bisa bertahan, ya, setidaknya sampai 2024. Menurut data yang saya gunakan tadi, dinar standar seperti itu. Ya, jadi kita hanya bisa bertahan. Kita hanya bisa bertahan agar tidak hancur totally kayak gitu. Terima kasih dari saya.
Thank you so much for Mr. Al-Haq Kamal. So we going to the second question from Ms. Nur Novianti. That question delivered to our speaker, Mr. Ageng Asmara Sani. The question is, does Indonesia have the opportunity to be number one regarding halal product? How should Indonesia to get the number one position with Malaysia? And what the most efficient way according to you so that the Indonesia people can understand the halal economy? Thank you so much. To Mr. Ageng Asmara Sani, time is yours.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much for the question. There are 3 questions. Indonesia can be number one regarding halal product, and the second, who should Indonesia do to? I'm sorry, Professor Faridah, to get position number one to beat the Malaysia, and the third is what is the most efficient way, according to me, so that Indonesian people understand the halal economy. Okay, thank you. Okay, the first, can Indonesia be a number one regarding halal product? Absolutely, I said yes. Indonesia can. Indonesia can to be a number one to the halal product. With what the way is, the first is enhance the role of halal product guarantee agency, or also we know BPJPH, Badan Penyelenggara Jaminan Produk Halal, ya. And try to integration between the institution to the business sector. Yeah, all the sector must be the first. To the halal product must be labeling by halal from MUI. It is one chance to be a guarantee the product halal in Indonesia is almost halal. All of the product is halal. Okay, and the second, who should Indonesia to get a number one? The first is try to learn to the Malaysia. What the Malaysia do? The first is making the literacy, upgrading the literacy to people, and then the second is maybe the infrastructure must be ditata lagi begitu ya, infrastrukturnya diperbaiki. Then the second is we use student as a agent of change to literate the people. Banyak orang Indonesia tidak mau atau malu untuk meliterasi orang lain. So we must use the student as a agent of change to literate the people. After that, the last is try to make a good competition and berjamaah. Good competition, Islamic bank with Islamic bank. Yeah, make a good competition, and then make this Islamic banking make more efficient. Okay, and then kalau kita berbicara tentang apa misalkan tadi ya pariwisata, kompetisi pariwisata yang belum banyak dikenal orang, misalkan adakan perlombaan dunia Rasulullah punya cara, misalkan kita disuruh bisa berenang, berkuda, dan memanah. Adakan kompetisi itu, buat di Indonesia, gaungkan. Nah, sehingga kita punya ciri khas. Indonesia kalau mau ada perhelatan dunia terkait dengan itu tadi, Olimpiade halal. I think there is no Olimpiade halal in the world, ya. So we can get the halal ecosystem semakin baik begitu. And the last is we can push the government start now and give the support to the people. And the last, we must echoing that together we can. Okay, I think it's for me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much to Mr. Ageng. Now we move to the third question from Ms. Dunyati Ilmiah. This question is delivered to Professor Faridah. Okay. To Ms. Dunyati Ilmiah, can you repeat the question?
Okay, I will repeat my question.
Thank you.
how we can show to everyone that someone has market or the name of Indonesia is warung makan ya. Warung makan is halal in Indonesia. Because we know that sometime we visiting new place is called, the place is Bali Island. Is the restaurant or cafe is still questionable halal. It's mean this is food is halal or not halal. It's mean that like that. So maybe it's mean that we need labels in front of restaurant that this is restaurant is halal food and healthy.
Yeah, I think I get the question. Anything else, Duyanti? Is that all?
Okay, I think Miss Dunyati sound is not responsible. Okay,
it's all right.
Just that that question from Miss Dunyati. Okay, please.
Right. Thank you for the question, Duyanti Ilmi. I think I may cover my answer not only to what Duyanti raised, but also to the it may cover all the other two earlier questions. Okay, number one, I love Bali. Okay, and I would like to go there again. I've been there, I think, more than 3 times. Yes, initially when I was there in 1997, I guess my perception as a tourist when I arrived in Indonesia is like Indonesia are all Melayu or probably are all the descendants of the Polynesian, Malay and all that. And my perception is everybody is a Muslim until I was kind of being reminded by one hawker who's selling kacang rebus, yeah. He was the one in 1997 who warned me, and he said, "Ibu, tolong jangan makan bakso itu ya, itu enggak halal." Dan penjajah itu asalnya daripada Lombok. Jadi I did not understand what it's all about. To me, I've been to Jakarta, I've been to Medan, and I think it was the same. But I thank him for doing so. So I was kind of cautious in what I want to eat. And at that time, 1997, there were no, I would say, halal certification at all in Indonesia. Okay, Malaysia was also kind of newer, embracing with a halal certificate and all. And why 1997? I'm one of the early tourists that used Air Asia, to travel to Bali then. It was so cheap. Air Asia offered a 99 ringgit return, which is about, kalau 99 ringgit dalam dapat 30,000. I can't remember how to calculate that. Yeah, 30,000, is it? Wang Indonesia. Okay, anyway, later on when I visited Indonesia, I understood better. And at that time, in the year 2000, KFC started having halal certificate at the restaurant, okay, franchise, and immediately, because I was I booked a hotel nearby KFC in Bali, so of course it's very easy for me to get rice and chicken halal over there. But now when Duyanti mentioned to me, it is questionable. You talk about questionable, yes. It's not only in Indonesia, but also in Malaysia. But one thing about Malaysia, the enforcement is very strict with this kind of claiming halal on your food, on your premise and all that, because if you really do, see, the consumer rights in Malaysia is very strong. And we have cases, issues like Gardenia Bread, KBRI, chocolate, even Ramly Burger, a Muslim-owned entrepreneur, and many others who are being, including Sprite mineral water, yeah? So this mineral water, that's a different case altogether, but they have their own issues. And when the consumer makes such accusation and they publicize it either via media, social media, or even via official letters to JAKIM. JAKIM is our authority in Jabatan Agama Islam. Okay, then that thing will be addressed to the whole nation. And if that happens, the owner of the gardenia bread, for example, yeah, to begin with, that was way back in those early years where halal became a big concern in Malaysia. He wanted to commit suicide. Okay, he's not a Muslim, but he's preparing the halal bread with the halal logo, and somebody make some investigation and said that the process or the premise or whatever, the ingredient has a DNA. Mr. P is or Mr. K, Kinzir, yeah, Mr. Kinzir, Mr. K. All right. So because of that, he did not know how to solve the problem. He had to bring this method to the lab in the university to do the testing, and for one whole week there was no production at all. He was out of business and he wanted to commit suicide because he said everything is on a standstill. It's just like COVID right now, yeah? When it is COVID, everybody do not have any source of income. So that goes the same to gardenia. Now, in Malaysia right now, anybody who's involved with halal business, they are at a very high risk, okay? High risk because when you claim that you are doing halal business, and if you do not profess doing so, if any fault or any I would say loopholes that is not halal, meaning they found haram, whether cross contamination or whatever not, they are highly liable, including Cadbury chocolate, which was famous before, and many other operators. Okay, so coming back to Duryati's question, it is best in Indonesia if those like in Malaysia, yeah, because halal is not compulsory, it is voluntary. Now you do take halal certification to protect your business, okay? So if the company over there would like to protect their business and do big business, whether locally or overseas, they must acquire the halal logo, all right? And there shouldn't be any fake logos, okay? You take this one, you photo stat, and then you put it out, you'll get into trouble. So the enforcement in Indonesia must come into play, right? Now, one good thing about Malaysia, why it is strong, is because the whole halal Malaysia is under the Prime Minister's department ever since inception. And when Tun Abdullah Badawi in 2006 take full control on it, the 13 states, just like in Indonesia, you have provinces, okay, all the 13 provinces has to come up together like what Brother Ageng mentioned just now, compete or jemaah. So it's best to jemaah, then you compete internationally, not compete within yourself. So when you have unity in doing that, then you can speak for halal. So in Malaysia, like what I mentioned in my presentation earlier, 70 to 80% of big companies in Malaysia are involved with halal processed food, yeah, manufacture of halal processed food, because they wanted to compete overseas, not in Malaysia, all right? States or provinces like Kelantan or Terengganu, which is similar to Aceh, do not need this halal certification because everybody are Muslims over there, majority are Muslims over there. There's no issue, except if you really do the traceability study, don't be surprised that the source may come from a non-halal source. It may come from our neighboring country. It may come from, you do not know where. So those are the things that plays an important role. Now, having said that, how Bali can, I take Bali because there's a lot of non-Muslims over there, just like in Malaysia, yeah, multicultural. And Bali is one place that tourists love to come in, including Muslim with high purchasing power. Okay, with high purchasing power, they have money to spend, just like the Japanese or Taiwanese or Australians who comes to Bali. You have to position it correctly. Pak Irman mentioned just now, and also I think Al-Haq mentioned just now, maybe this is not the right time to think about tourism. My answer would be different. Okay, my answer is this is the time to revisit your tourism. And Indonesia has the strength because, just like what Ageng mentioned, like what Al-Haq mentioned, they are the biggest Muslim population in the country, and you can encourage local tourism to begin with right now, because you don't need to depend on the overseas market yet. The little economy that we can get in Indonesia, we have to get hold of that, and we need to do a checklist over there. And bear in mind, there are many wealthy, rich Indonesians who want a very high quality hospitality services, like what Pak Irman mentioned earlier, starts from the hotel or the operators or the transport, logistic, food, many things, because it is a supply chain by itself. So you need to do that checklist. Okay, to begin with, what you can do is to you can even, like what we did for Aceh, okay, because I sit in a board of the director for the Islamic quality system for hospitality. So what we do is we do a pre-audit for Aceh hotels, okay, and to give this Islamic quality system award to them. And if they are serious in looking into it after pandemic, okay, when the business are coming up, you are already attracting and ready for the incoming tourists overseas to spend the money in these places, whether it's Aceh or in Yogyakarta or in Bali and many other places. Because I agree with somebody's question just now that Indonesia has thousands of islands, beautiful places, but the way you brand and package it and also promote it must be in line with the halal ecosystem. Okay, so I think that part of tourism, if you are really interested, wanting to know how Islamic quality system play into role, some of you may have come across one Singaporean crescent rating, crescent rating that goes that do the rating for Muslim friendly, except that under IQS that I am involved in, we have two parties from level 1 to level 7. Level 6 and 7 belongs to Muslim owners. Level 1 to level 5 audit, anybody who are interested to do Muslim friendly can pre-audit themselves from the lowest level, except that level 6 and 7 would be the Sharia compliant. So coming back to that point, okay, can Indonesia be number 1? I have to agree with Brother Ageng. The answer is yes, definitely yes. But you need to look at the position just now under the indexes. Which one would be the areas that you can improve? If it is tourism, the only way that we can compete is to get into the bandwagon of ranking, like what the index is doing, yeah? Because we need to know where is our position, because Malaysia is not number 1 for every item. So we need to improve some 1 or 2 items in that mannerism, because this is high competition with UAE. So Indonesia now knows where you are, level 4, level 3, try to move up to level 2. Take 1 item at a time. And definitely you are, we as a Muslim should offer this product and services to the world. And there's so much rezeki out there in the world that is not tapped yet. Okay, so don't worry about Malaysia going, better than Indonesia or Indonesia better than Malaysia. What we need to do is that Southeast Asian countries, especially Malaysia, Indonesia, Brunei, should chart the way to show a good, I would say, branding for the world. So I think I stopped there first, Meutia. I think I've covered almost all. But so do the checklist, number one on the halal certification for those who are interested, like what the Malaysians are doing by the non-Muslims. Second, do a tourism Islamic quality system pre-audit. Doesn't matter whether you're ranked number 1 or 3 or 5 or 7. And number 3, yes, you need to identify your position right now and improve the ranking. Thank you, Meutia.
Yes, okay, thank you so much. That's so incredible answer from Professor Faridah. Okay, thank you so much for all the participants. Thank you for all the participants that having a question. But I'm so sorry, I have to say that the time is up because our schedule is just to 12 p.m. So I have to close this question and answer session. I'm so sorry to all the participants that who wants to asking the question to the speakers. Maybe you can asking to us by email that created that created at the invitation. So I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry that I have to close this session. So because we have to close the session, thank you so much for all the questions. Thank you so much for all the participants. Thank you so much for all the speakers who answered the question. Ladies and gentlemen, we finally come to the end of this seminar. I'd like to thank the speakers for the insightful, informative, and interesting presentation, and all the participants for the very active participation. Finally, give an applause for the speaker and for you all. Thank you so much. There's enough from me. There's enough from me. I am Meutia Layli. Thank you so much, and I'm so sorry if I have so many mistaken. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I deliver back to the MC, Miss Fida. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, Miss Meutia. Thank you for our moderator and speakers who gives us knowledge. May it will be useful in our daily life. Amin. Okay, the last agenda is closing. To close this program, let's recite Hamdalah together. Alhamdulillahirobbilalamin. Thank you. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, before we leave this room, let's take picture once again, right? Okay. Please open your camera.
189 sekarang. Tadi
Turning
300-an.
on your camera. Okay, please. I would like to count until 3 again. Okay, ready, operator? Okay. Let me just 1, 2, 3. Okay, thank you. And then the next slide. Please open your camera. I would like to count again. 1, 2, 3. Peace. Okay. Again, operator. Again. Okay. Okay. And the last slide. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you Finally, from the deepest of my heart, I do apologize for my mistakes in presenting this event. Thank you very much. Thank you for your attention and see you at the next occasion. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you so much for all the speakers.
Terima kasih Prof. Faridah, Pak Irman.
Thank you.
Thank you, Prof. Faridah. See you next time. Thank you, Mr. Irman.
Thank you, Miss.